And just slowly coming down onto both knees. And we're going to bring the blocks wide, like so, underneath both sides of the pelvis, and bring the knees together. So when you look down, you should see the soles of your feet. Bring the knees to touch each other, and your bum is on the blocks. So you're shifting the blocks back a little bit. So your bum's on the blocks and then the knees are in front. So this is called Virasana, seated warrior. Again, I'm going to turn to the side. This would be a little easier to be upright in the spine. So just having a look, you know, it's much easier than when the legs are out in front, right? So, but let yourself sit into the blocks, have the knees together. If 2 blocks are not sufficient, take 3, take 4, etc. Interlace the fingers, exhale, push palms forwards, inhale, arms come up by ears. And then we're looking for a sense of strength to stay in the trunk. So as the arms depart from the sides of the body, as they move up above the head, there may be a tendency to lose the rib cage. Draw the front ribs into the back ribs so you stay straight. Try to straighten your elbows, just looking forwards or slightly down. Keep pressing the knees together. Now start to draw the arms back a little bit more, but don't let your ribs kind of lose their strength. Draw the front ribs back into the back ribs. So again, the ribs are aligning over the hips. Keep the inner thighs pressing together. Good. Exhale, take the hands down. Now just have a look at which of your thumbs is on top, and then move every digit of that dominant hand down one. So you still have a weave of left, right, etc., but you've just got a different thumb on top, different pinky on the bottom, and we lift up again. Drop the shoulder blades down. This time we're tucking the chin in and drawing the arms back even more. So you're bringing more stretch into the upper body, but make sure that your belly stays strong. Draw the front ribs down and back. Breathe 360 into your rib cage. Stay strong in the belly. Watch that your shoulders don't squash the neck vertebrae, so drop your shoulder blades into your back. Good, and releasing down. Well done. Good. So we're going to stay on our blocks, and I'll mirror you. We'll take the left knee into flexion, but lateral flexion, so out to the side. Right leg is straight out in front of us. So as you let your left knee come out to the side, just make sure that your left foot stays dorsiflexed. So you want those left toes facing forwards. If we were sitting on the ground, the sole of that left foot would be touching the inside of the right thigh. But because we're elevated, that's not happening, but we're able to sit up a little taller, which is nicer. So from here, inhale, lifting the arms up and looking up. And then exhaling, we're going to come forwards and take hold of the right shin. Once you've got that grip there, inhale, lift your chest so you're pointing your heart forwards. And then exhale, start to come forwards over that leg. Maybe your elbows bend, maybe they don't. Maybe you can take the elbows to the floor, maybe you can't. Maybe you can take the right foot, maybe you can't. So find where is good for you. Keep your breathing steady, but remember, we're trying to be really long in the spine. So if we're really hunched, that's not a long spine. So better to come up a little bit and be long in the spine than it is to cut off your energy flow like so. So again, it's going to be different for everyone. Really sit into the blocks. push the right heel into the ground. So you're firing up muscles at the back of that right leg and you're preventing any kind of hyperextension. If you can't reach the ankle or the foot, you're taking the shin or the knee or the thigh. Try to be aligned so both hands are in line with each other, both elbows, both shoulders. So one hand isn't in front of the other. It's a slight little twist in the trunk here. Strong in the belly will ensure that we're supported in the spine. And again, it's not about getting the head down very low. It's about folding at the hips, staying long in the spine. If you perceive that you're hunched or rounded, come up a little bit more. Walk your hands a little closer to the knee. Sit a little taller. The purpose of these forward bends is to teach us to fold at the hips, not to slouch at the back. And keeping the legs exactly as they are, we're going to come up and twist to the left. So we take the right hand to the left thigh, and we'll take the left hand to hold on to the blocks if you're short of limb, or you can take your left hand to the floor if you're long of limb. Point being, though, that you stay upright. Such is the theme of all of our postures today. Stay long in the spine. And again, just find what's right for you. Maybe just looking to the left is fine, or looking over the back shoulder. The effort really is in lengthening and straightening. Really dig the right heel into the ground. That's going to keep the muscles at the back of the knee strong and safe. We stay for another wee while. Tendency might be to kind of go into the natural state of slouching. Try to resist that. We're trying to make sure that the spine is very comfortable, very healthy spinal column, and all its supporting muscles stay strong. Good, and then inhale, come back to center, and we'll switch. So right knee bending out to the side, so lateral flexion, left leg straight out in front. As you look down to your right foot, you want to dorsiflex it. So that's the dorsum, the top of the foot is shortening, so you're pulling the toes back to the shin. Same with the left foot as well. Inhale to rise. And exhale to reach forwards, but keep the spine super long. So maybe touching the foot, the shin, the knee, the thigh. Maybe as you fold forwards now, the elbows can bend. But you can see in my back, I'm really prioritizing length. So letting the tops of your ears move forwards. Letting the shoulder blades move back. Staying strong through the belly. For this pose to progress, it's not necessarily about getting the head down. It's about really sharpening the awareness about what it is to lengthen your spine, to fold from the pelvis, to stay strong in the belly. We're opening into the hip here, so lateral flexion allows the groin to stretch, and we're opening into the hamstrings of the left leg, and that brings more mobility in the lower back also. Try to have your hands aligned so one arm isn't in front of the other. Keeping your breathing steady. And if you perceive that you're super slouched or rounded, walk the hands up a little bit and prioritize being lifted and long. Keep both feet dorsiflexed. I know we're not standing, but the feet are still the base of the pose. So it's important they're active there. Nice, everyone. Coming up, and then we'll do our little twist. So twisting around. So as you start to twist into this, make sure that you don't drop into slouch again. So keep this sense of lengthening, and then that left hand comes to right thigh, right hand comes to the edge of the blocks you're on or onto the floor behind you, and we're twisting around. Tendency in a twist might be to lean back also, so keep yourself upright. Longer stays in the posture, slower approaches to get into and out of things, but doesn't mean in any way that it's easier. So really keep that awareness sharp. Make sure you're sitting tall. With any twist, as we kind of corkscrew our way around, we can often forget about the base. So just come back into your capacity to remember the foundation of the pose. Keep both sit bones equally grounded. Try not to uproot the left sit bone. And keep digging the left heel into the ground so the back of that leg is strong. Lift the chest nice and high. Really straighten the back. Good, and then coming back to center. And then we'll just stick both legs out in front of us. Sitting tall again. Dorsiflex both feet and have both feet together. So we can take the fingertips to, or the thumb tips to the block just slightly behind the bum and sitting up as tall as possible. If you're long of limb and you can reach the ground, then do. I can't, so find what's right for you. And really sitting up as tall as possible. Push the heels forwards as well as pushing them down. So just to rephrase that, push the heels towards the wall ahead of you, so you're dorsiflexing your feet, but also push the backs of the heels, Achilles tendons, into the ground, so you're not hyperextending the backs of the knees. Use the hands on the ground or the blocks to support you. Really be tall here. Dandasana, staff pose. It's one of the most difficult seated poses, I think, even though it looks like nothing. So when done properly, there'll be quivers in the core. You're really working to stay tall. If this feels like it's enough for you, stay there. If you want to go further without changing anything else, lift the arms up, have them parallel by the ears. Now we got to work harder. In the absence of the support under the hands, we got to work harder to stay tall. Really strong in the belly to support that length. If you've brought the arms up and you figure out, oh, that's way harder than I thought, then return them to the bricks or the blocks or to the floor behind you slightly. So in the absence of core strength, the absence of mobility such that we can sit tall, we're using the hands to support us if need be. If not, the arms can be up. How strong are the legs? Are you truly squeezing them together, making sure they're straight? Reach the fingers up into the sky if your arms are elevated. Push them down into the blocks or the ground if they're not. Now remember, if you're bringing the arms up, the front ribs have a tendency to flare out and we lose that strength in the belly. So draw the front ribs back.